that body on me. I'm coming now, follow my lead. Coming now, follow my lead.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Northern Lights Racing YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by Mr. Alex Everitt. Hello Alex.
Hello Craig.
Alrighty. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the most recent Core Racing League. They're currently running Alfa DTM Trophy Championship. So it's a 5-week championship with 2 races per night, and the first race was on Sunday just gone, which was the 30th of April, I think. Yes, it was. And we had Alex taking part in that as Northern Lights Racing. We also had Ollie Pegg driving for the Northern Lights Academy team. Matt Neal was also part of that team, but he wasn't able to race last night, which we will come to later on. But Alex, first of all, so the Alfa Romeo, this is something you've not driven in Assetto Corsa before the season even started. How did your practice go when you first jumped in the car? How did it feel?
It's a surprise, let's put it that way. If you compare how modern Formula 1 cars go through the corners, compare that to Ayrton Senna going around Monaco, where he's just wrestling the car all the way around. That's what the Alfa is like. And going from the Porsche last season into the Alfa now, it's a huge difference. And it took a bit of getting used to. You know, first couple of laps in the Alfa, there's a lot of sideways going on. There's a lot of facing the wrong way. But after a few laps, when I've learnt the trick to it is actually a really enjoyable car to drive.
And Zandvoort was the first race of the season. That's the track you went to. How did that? It's not the easiest track in the world. How did that feel with the Alfa? Because I know there's a lot of off-camber corners that can catch you out. How did the practice go for the race there?
Yeah, as you said, it's reverse camber, so the car tends to any car will tend to understeer on a reverse camber corner, and the Alfa is prone to understeer. So it was a bit of a shock at first. There's a lot of corners where you go over crest and downhill, and then it'll just you've just got to learn to anticipate that. You find with this Alfa, you've got to turn in earlier for corners, you know, and you've got to pay a lot of attention to the setup. But once you've learned how to drive it, it's, you know, you can anticipate the understeer, but also you can use, you know, the rear power ratio to just sort of kick the back end out and make sure it sticks to the corners.
Yeah, no, I've had a little drive of it myself, and it isn't the easiest car, but when you get it right, it does feel nice. But moving on to your qualifying, you ended up finishing 8th in qualifying, which is just quite high up the field actually. Did you feel that was a good for yourself, or do you think you could have improved it and finished a little bit higher up in qualifying?
Yeah, I think I could have got a little higher. I was a tiny bit disappointed after it. I'm very new to this series. I'm very new to Assetto Corsa, so I just thought, well, that's not a bad start. So, you know, if you can finish higher than where you've qualified, then that's a good result. And that turned out to be the case in the end.
Yeah, in the end, definitely. Well, you've dipped your toes in with the Porsche in the season before, and this is your first time starting afresh on a new car. So, and you feel as well. You've raced with some of these guys in the Porsche previous, but I'm sure you'll still be getting used to the field, as we'll probably find out in the races. But race 1 didn't quite go to plan for you. Despite your good qualifying of 8th, you ended up finishing 27th. Not actually able to complete the race. Let us. What happened? What happened on you for you in race 1?
Well, the first lap, the start went really well. The first couple of corners I managed to go up a few positions. But as people make mistakes because the tyres are cold, they're not quite used to how the car handles in a race situation. A few drivers were dropping off. I was passing a few, and I managed to find myself in 3rd, around about lap 4 or 5. I was on a battle for 3rd with someone, and all of a sudden my internet drops off. So that was my race over. Quite a shame, because I was doing really well.
I know, one of those things that you don't really have to deal with in real life, isn't it? But no, it's never ideal, any disconnections or even just bits of lag or netcode. It's never ideal for a league race like this. But moving on to race 2, you ended up having to start in the position you finished, which was 27th. You told me before we started recording this that the top 12 guys get reversed, so there is a case of faster guys trying to get through to the front, and that could cause problems. But for yourself, you ended up climbing a good few positions. You went from 27th to finish 13th in the end. So on paper, looks like a good race. How did it actually go from your point of view?
Half and half, really. Well, the first half of the race, I got a good start, went up a few positions, but then lap 2, trying to get around somebody in the third sector, I pushed a bit too hard and put it off track and scraped the wall a bit and damaged the right side of my car. So that was playing on my mind a little bit for the next lap, where I came around the same corner trying to get around somebody again and pushed too hard again, but this time spun it. So after doing that, once I got myself back on track, I just sort of thought, right, okay, well, calm down a bit, and just one car at a time, one lap at a time. And I just kept plugging away, and eventually I found myself catch up with Ollie Pegg, our teammate, and he was doing a great job of holding up people behind him, defending really well, which played a huge part into me going up a lot of positions. So credit where credit's due. It was great teamwork between me and Ollie there.
Excellent. Yeah, well, you both in that second race both had some very solid positions indeed. An improvement on race 1 for both of you. But if we have a look at the championship, Ollie's currently sitting 17th with you 19th, so not having the best of opening rounds put you down the field. But how confident do you feel on moving up? Where do you kind of see yourself aiming to be towards the end of the season? Position wise, do you hope to get a few podiums, maybe at the odd race win? How do you see the season progressing?
Yeah, exactly what you said there. I hope to get a race win. More would be nice. Some podiums would be great. But overall in the championship, I'd be extremely happy with the top 5. I think yesterday, with the confidence I had yesterday, I think I can challenge at the front. As long as I finish every race, as long as my internet hangs on every race, I think I can catch up race by race.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. We've got 4, so there's 8 races left in the season, 4 circuits that we're going to. Next up's Paul Ricard's circuit. I think it's the World Touring Car Layout. How do you think you're going to fare at that circuit?
I've raced at the circuit many times on Race Room in the WTCC mods, so I quite like the circuit. It's there's lots of variations of it, but it's a nice track, and I already tried it in the Alfa, and it's actually where I learnt to drive the Alfa. So yeah, I just think it's a really fun track, and I think it's going to make for some very, very exciting racing. It's a wide track like Zandvoort, so similar kind of racing, but I think Paul Ricard's got a bit more grip, so you might see people a bit more confident around the corners, and probably more confident when it comes to overtaking.
It's easily been a decade.
But yeah, it's one of my favorite. Yeah,
I was going to say it's easily been a decade since I raced on that on any game. I think it might have been an old MotoGP game, but from what I remember, it's quite a flat circuit as well, so there's not as much camber to deal with. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Mistakes from drivers. It'll be more passing people and expecting them to go off.
Yeah, what you will find is a lot of people we'll call it exceeding track limits, because you can on that track, whereas Zandvoort, if you touch the grass, you're off. Mm-hmm. But Paul Ricard, there's tarmac runoff areas, so you might see people pushing the limit a little bit. So got to kind of deal with that and play to our advantage, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll hopefully catch up with yourself or either Ollie or Matt next week and see if they got on. Like I said earlier on, Matt couldn't race in this one. He ended up having a one meeting ban, sadly, for his misdemeanours in the last core league over in the Porsche, so he had to serve that for the start of this season. But he will be back, hopefully for the Paul Ricard one. Alex, we'll either catch up with yourself, Ollie or Matt, or all three of you after that one to see how you get on. But I'm unlucky in race 1, improved in race 2, and hopefully for the rest of the season it'll be upwards progress for you, and hopefully we'll see you on the podium or even getting a race win at some point soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks very much for having me. Looking forward to the rest of the season.
Spawn. See you later on there. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you want to keep up to date with everything Northern Lights Racing, be sure to like the video and subscribe, and we'll let you know exactly what goes on as it happens. Thanks for watching.